Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tama's podcast. I'm so sorry, some miscommunication somewhere. Okay, so today I have a special guest of mine. His name is David Reynolds, and he's going to come and join us shortly and talk about his career as a coach. Okay, so I'm waiting for him to join. All right, hopefully, this time it's going to work. Okay, yes. Invite David Reynolds, coach. Okay. I'm inviting you, David. Does that work? Hi, Mitty. David, I'm trying to invite you. David. Hi, Albie. Okay. Invite. David, you need to jump in or request. Hi, I feel I'm really, yeah. David, you need to request to join. Okay? I'm going to try to invite you again. I've invited you, David. Okay. Third time lucky or fourth time, I don't know. Finally, David, how are you?
How's it going, Selma?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for coming this early. I'm so thankful. So, David, we know each other for a long, long time. Okay? Can you please tell me how you and Paul know each other?
Yeah, sure. So when I was growing up, I think uh, during my teenage years, Paul came from
Yeah.
Ghana, and around that time, your partner Paul, who was a massive part of my life growing up during my teenage years, by the way, I looked up to him so much. So basically, he came from Ghana, and it was one of those situations where African parents, they don't tell you anyone's coming. They just basically say sort of a day, maybe 2 days out. Oh, by the way, someone will come and stay in your room. It was like that. So he came. I had no choice but to get to know him and enjoy his company. But Paul was someone that I looked up to. Paul was someone who helped me sort of look at the teenage years with less anxiety,
Nice.
because I know he came from a place where he had to really look after himself quite a lot growing up. So I really admired him in my earlier years, on this planet, and it's gone into adulthood. Paul is a strong man. I always saw a warrior in him. He
Wow.
didn't have to fight for me to see that African warrior sort of vibe in him. But yeah, he's a lovely soul, very funny man.
Yeah, very.
That's how I met Paul around the age of 14, I think.
Wow. So, when I last met you, I remember we used to catch up because you're doing some live on Instagram and things like that. So, explain to us what exactly you do.
Yeah, sure. So I am a transformational coach. I like to call myself a world-class transformational coach. Um, uh, been I've been a personal trainer once upon a time, and I sort of came to become a world-class transformational coach because I started to ask questions that world-class people ask, like what, you know, first of all, why don't my clients keep the results that they say they want? Why is it that I can't get a client to go from point A to point B and absolutely keep the result forever? I kept having clients who'd uh, go through the transformation, nutrition, diet, everything like that. They'll get to point B, and then maybe 90 days later, they'll look like their before picture. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
That makes sense. Yeah,
So,
that's
so I'd wonder, why are they going back to where they were before they saw me, and even they would maybe put on even more weight than they had before they came to see me. So it was like with interest. So that used to make me question, you know, my integrity.
Okay.
Like, am I helping people? Am I making it worse? Right?
Yeah.
So then I started to inquire. Then I started to ask around and look for the best personal trainer in Europe, um, by the name of Dax Moy, and he helped me to understand what was going on up here in the
Okay.
brain, the emotional eating, um, the behaviors that lead to sort of microwavable, behaviors. It's like packaged microwave food. You know what you're going to get. If someone is feeling anxious, stressed, depressed on any particular day, they have this pattern that they sort of go into this emotional eating
Yeah.
because their hormones are out of balance, etc., etc. Anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, I stopped personal training and I started to help people with the deeper stuff like the mindset, the heart-centered work, the heart work, and helping them lighten themselves there, and yeah, ultimately helping them keep the result that they said they wanted. That's kind of where I am right now.
Okay, look at that. My friend said I should save this life. I always save my reels. So don't worry. I'm sure David's gonna also give us some of his details. So you have a lot of clients, you have a lot of fan base. How does it work?
So yeah, I have private clients. So
Okay.
I made a decision to keep my clients private and work with fewer clients, but work more higher end.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can give more attention to the clients in smaller groups and one to
Yeah.
one, then I'm able to really get to the bottom of what it is that's getting in their way. And instead of point A to point B results, I'm now sort of looking at it from like point A to Z.
Wow.
So it's
Extra
it's
wow.
more, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot more detail to it. And I call it definite infinite detail, DID, because I believe that, when a woman comes to me and asks for a transformation, she usually says, I want to get thinner,
Okay.
right? But then what I look at is, what is the feeling she is actually looking for by getting thinner. So I
Mm-hmm.
look at the behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this goes in any area of life. It doesn't just have to be a woman looking for weight loss and to transform herself, get back into those jeans that fit her and make her feel, $1 million. It's also making sure that people understand this crosses every single area of life. If you want to improve your health, it's always something deeper. Do you have the belief system that aligns with the result you say you want? My thing keeps coming up.
All right.
Do you have that belief system structure set up for the success to hold the result? Sometimes people say they want something, change the behavior, but the belief still exists. The old belief of, yeah, but that's going to cause me pain. My friends are going to tell me that, I'm not coming out with them and I'm boring, and that causes more pain in their mind of, that's what the change is going to bring. If I really get into shape, I'm going to lose these friends, and that sort of thing. So that's the work.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what type of studies you have to do to be where you are right now?
Yeah, so it's I take a neuroscientific approach to behavioral transformation.
Cool.
So it's the behavior. I believe that your beliefs drive your behavior.
Yeah.
So the behavior is not enough to change. Even in a relationship, if we want a great relationship with our spouse, their behavior is not enough to just change on any given day to get the response we want. We've got to change the underlying beliefs.
Yeah.
And to get to where I am, I had to do the work on myself first. I had to see my own insecurities, my own flaws, and what I've noticed is clients can tell if you've done the work. They,
You've done
they,
the
yeah,
job.
they have a way of saying, he's getting me to do something that he hasn't done himself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
because of that,
Yeah.
I know I have to make sure, hey, did this work for me? Am I giving my clients something that actually worked in my life for it to then work in theirs? So I've actually been to the gym. I went to the gym for 100 days in a row without using willpower, without using willpower. And I trained extremely intensely, but it felt very easy. And the reason I was able to do that was because I stopped looking at it as though I had to go to the gym, and I created the joy around it, so that it was like I got to go to the gym. It was like I couldn't wait to go, you know? And so it's making sure that if I'm going to ask a client to do anything, I'm not going to ask a client to go to the gym for 100 days in a row. But if I'm going to ask a client to do anything, I must first know how it feels. I must first know, how to create that desired transformation in myself first, and not go backwards.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw, I was talking to a development coach, and she said that before you even consider becoming a coach, you have to look back at your own self before you look, because you have to know what to advise people, what to say to people. But how are you going to do that without having done the research, having reflected on your experience, on yourself? So it's like, I feel like being a coach is a lot of work. It's hard work. You're taking on yourself and the other person. How do you manage to balance all of that in a family?
Right. So I think you're right, Thelma. I think it takes skill. It's a skill, and all skills are learnt, and it can be learnt, and it does take whole. I won't say, yeah, okay, you could say cooperation. It takes cooperation from your partner, but having a growth partner, someone who is growth minded, that's very important, because then your partner understands that who you are today and who you are next year may be two different people. Hopefully, the idea is to have grown towards your highest version of self, right?
Yeah.
Your best version of self. So that is key when making decisions between the two of you, to about the children. When are the children in school? When am I working? When are you working? How much income, how much percent of the income do you want to bring into the house? How much am I going to bring? All of that stuff is predetermined, and then it's kind of designed from there. So it's right. 9 o'clock, what's going on? 12 o'clock, how are we doing it? 3 o'clock, what's the deal? It's like we've got that sort of
Understanding.
structure, yeah, and that's kind of how we do it. I
That's
have two I
amazing.
have two kids, two amazing children.
I know.
One's 1 and one's 2.
Yeah. How does it like to be a dad?
Yeah. It feels, there's no manual. There's no it's anyone can tell you and try to prepare you for fatherhood, and as you know, motherhood. Anyone can try and get you to get it, but there's nothing like actually going through the experience, and you really do start to appreciate those that looked after you at that age, and it just starts to come back full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it, it's 360 reality, right? You just get this full circle feeling of, oh my gosh, is this how it was when my mom took me to nursery for the first day?
Yeah.
And then, the emotions, and then you pick your kid up the first time, and just loads of firsts.
Yes.
It's amazing, and it's very challenging at the same time, extremely challenging. It really, I think, requires you to step into your next or better version of self. You can't just be the same you were before you had kids. Something has to switch. Your heart center, your world changes.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
Who your world, yeah,
it
the center
changes.
of your world changes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I
Because when a child is born,
want to say.
parent is born,
Yeah,
so it is like that. But I have to say, I love watching even the pictures of your family. You have a very beautiful family. I hope we can see your kids, because I don't think I've seen your kids before. I've seen your partner when she was pregnant, but I don't think I've seen your kids yet. But we need
right.
to arrange something. We really do need to arrange something, honestly. But David, I want to say thank you so, so much for coming, for explaining thoroughly what you do. please keep up these videos because I like watching it, and I think it's very inspirational. So give me your details as well, so that more people can get to know what you do, and ask for your services as well. So I want to say a big thank you to you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Toma. I think it's very cool what you're doing, getting these interviews going, and it's also very quite inspiring as well.
Thank
So
you.
awesome. Well done to you.
Have a lovely day, and thank you
All right
again.
then. You too. Bye
Bye.
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 Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Bye.